Everybody, this is Ramon Ray with the Rundown with Ramon. Thanks for being here today. We're Black Tech Week interviewing Munson Steed. Munson, thank you for being here today. Appreciate you being here today. Can you tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do first? Then I'd love to get some of your insights for entrepreneurship and building media brands.
Cool. Well, I'm Munson Steed, 25 years in the game of enjoying being an entrepreneur in the media and brand building space. Uh, Thank you so much for having me on this phenomenal podcast. Very proud of you.
Thank you.
And all the young brothers that are building our voices in ways and dynamic persuasions to get us to think better, be better, and to grow better.
Oh, I love that. Think better. That's very important. And for those who don't know, what is Rolling Out?
Rolling Out is a media brand, been around 25 years, celebrates Black people in the four pillars, which are business, thought leadership, health, and entertainment.
I love that. Can you give us a story? How did you start it? What was the journey? Give us some of the benchmarks, some of the jumping stations of how it got to be where it is today.
Well, that's interesting. I was in the magazine business, and Lynn Burnett and Keith Clinkscale were running Vibe, and The Source magazine was a thing, and Heart and Soul was a thing, and obviously Ebony and Jet was a thing, and I had no USP, and I had a magazine called Direct Wire, and I had one client, big client, and the client said, he said, well, what else do you dream about other than your magazine? I said, well, I'd love to have alternative weeklies, which were the free weeklies, and I said I have a network of those, because there was a network of alternative weeklies, and then I'd have a USP, unique selling proposition. So he said, well, I'm at a tobacco company, and it's going to go away in 7 years, but I'll make a deal with you if you'll launch a whole syndicate of at least 10 cities for me over the next 7 years. If you can get to 15, I'll double down for 8 years, and I'll do it in advance. And Rolling Out was born. That was a moment when, Ludacris was Chris Lover Lover. Maynard Jackson, R.I.P., the first Black mayor of Atlanta, was our first cover. But from that moment, we started in Atlanta, where Outkast and Big Boy were just coming out. LaFace Records had just moved there. So Def had just started. Freaknik was a real thing. And we got our start. And obviously, Atlanta dominates the Billboard right now. Usher was 16 at that moment.
Wow.
So we've had a wonderful, phenomenal run, enjoying the progress, and obviously it pivoted to a whole brand, obviously still print, but at the same time, events, research, PR, just a whole full service agency style business that we love, and then our connections to the community.
Yes.
We've never had to change our voice. We could celebrate the bigs and the smalls inside our community. There are subject matter experts like yourself that we love, and then just to encourage the success for the next generation.
I love that. I love that. Two questions I want to ask you, Munson, to follow up on that. One, can we talk about building a media brand? I know it's a broad question. You could probably talk on that for hours. And then just building a business in general. Let's talk maybe about the media brand part of it. What are some tentacles to that? I'm assuming it's audience. You need funding. You got the nuts and bolts. Walk me through some of the big things that people need to know today when they want to build their next media brand or content machine, as it were.
I would probably tell you, not in the media space. Okay. In any business, you've got to build off your vision of yourself. At the end of the day, business, where's your profitability model? Have you done the proper research before you get into it? There are lots of, when I was here, there was no AI.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't look to somebody. I think there's one of my favorite entrepreneurs right now is the young lady who has Uncle Nearest, and clearly she's $1 billion sister, and she says most entrepreneurs talk about old information. So what was relevant for me 25 years ago is not relevant today. And if you're not on the cutting edge of what your reality is, then you typically are going to have old plays. And so I would say research, study the data, figure out what your heart is content with. Be an entrepreneur like yourself,
Yes, sir.
Very agile, be willing to learn. But more than anything, have a contract with yourself that greatness is within you and that you are going to be successful. And never believe that a failure is a failure. It's only a reset. Keep a reset button ready. no matter what business you choose as an entrepreneur, because each one is a lesson in this big space called
Yes.
LIFE.
Well, it seems like I don't even need to ask the question about business because I suspect this is all the key right there, the mindset. Do you mind just unpacking that a bit more? It seems like a lot of this is in your head, not the nuts and bolts of success. That's what I'm picking up.
I think you interviewed enough phenomenal entrepreneurs, but I think the mindset is, we as African Americans have to put on a face. Black people have to put on a face every day.
Mm,
But if you don't come to life and entrepreneurship with a game face,
mm,
you already lost.
mm,
You've got to have that compassion inside yourself to give yourself grace. There's not always a welcoming mat. You can definitely, when you say mindset, I don't think it's just the mindset. I think it's, your brain trust. If I
mm.
can't lean into you and you talk about Zapier and I don't give you a call, if I don't respect it, this is your
Yes,
podcast.
sir.
So I need to embrace what you're saying,
Mm,
or at least be obedient
yes.
in the spirit of what you bring into this moment to actually enshrine something phenomenal. So, money, manifested opportunity, negotiating everything yourself. So if you're believing that you're in entrepreneurship, then the responsibility for you is actually to manifest something, to look for those opportunities, to understand that you're going to have to negotiate. Nobody's just going to be complicit and say, oh, yes, go right ahead of me. But you're not really racing them. It's the shadow game. You're racing yourself. Everything is a part of that negotiation. And what you won't do for yourself, then it makes it impossible for people to believe that they should do something for you when you don't believe in you. So you must believe in yourself every day.
I love that. Munson, last question. Can you just talk a little bit about more about yourself personally, personal accomplishments, what you're most proud of, possibly, where you'll be in the next few years, and anything just about yourself that we can dive more into who Munson Steed is as well.
Well, no, I enjoy writing children's books, so
Okay.
I've got 8. I've got a women's meditation book. I
Okay.
own a bookstore online called blackbookstore.com. Rollingout.com is great. 3 million people come there a month. For me, if you love to listen to music, I'm number 9 on the gospel Billboard charts. I was the writer and producer on the song for Corinne Hawthorne, Look at God. Enjoy what you do as an entrepreneur.
Mm,
It's not about Munson. It's really about your brand. It's like I'm proud to be on this podcast because I believe in this brother. I want him to be bigger than me. I'm not embracing him. I know that there's enough for me and him. I know that nothing comes out. I don't believe in the cup is half full or half empty. I believe your cup runs over and is an overflow. If you believe that, then take the actions necessary to understand that the overflow is there and available for you. But there is a price. At every checkout, God has a price for you, and you have to be willing to pay that price to endure, to understand, to rest, to resist, and repeat. Everything that's going to make you successful. Study the models, study the motions, read, resist, rest, and repeat.
wow. Munson Steed, thank you so much for your time today of rolling out. My name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with